Hey guys, what's up? NPS3D here and welcome back to another exciting visual effect tutorial. Today we are going to include fluid simulation into our VFX workflow. Let me show you what we will do today. So we have two scenes. I already finished the tracking. So I use Camera Tracker version 3 and this is really cool. And I have a few tutorials, two tutorials I already posted, so you can go there and check it and see about the workflow. It's very easy to do, and I created the 3D, you can see this mesh point and also our animated camera, this one. And with our VFX tool, I load the 360 environment map. This is not the same, but I used a similar one. And I also finished texturing with my VFX tool. So it's easy. And if you don't want to use this plugin, you can try older methods. I have a full video about this workflow. I will mention in my video description and also on the I button. So you can try that workflow as well, as where we will track our scene using Blender inbuilt camera system, and we will do the texturing manually, which we already do. So I already finished this thing, so we will save some time and we will only focus on the actual scene creation, where we will include the fluid simulation. So actually this is the reference where we'll need a bottle and also a cutout of this orange, and there will be some fluid which will drop from the orange and it will go inside the bottle. This is simple one. So we will need a cutout of orange. So here I already downloaded it from the Sketchfab. I will provide the link of everything, like the camera tracker, the video footage, the project file, the 3D model. So everything will be in my video description. So you can go there and download everything and get started. So this is the orange cut. So simply I'll copy this path, go to the file, import and GLTF, and I will load that 3D model over here and press M and move this into the new collection called orange cut. You will see all the keyboard shortcut. So let me scale it to make it big. I can simply delete this big one because I don't need this. I only need this cutout. And let me go to the rendered mode. So you can see this is looking nice, and we will use this middle part to pour some juices. This is my basic idea. So I'll select this, or I can select and press Alt P and clear and keep transformation. So this way I can delete all the nulls which we don't need, and we will only keep the original object, and simply I will make the origin to geometry, and also I will apply the scale. So first let's move it where the cube is. So I'll go to the 7 for the top view. Just make it smaller, and I will just set this to the XYZ, make it 90 or 180 degree. Let me go to the overlay panel and disable wireframe. Okay, so this is our perfectly placed because of a good tracking, and I already finished setting environment map, so lighting will be also there. So now the next thing is to add bottles. For the bottle, I will simply use Blender Kit, which is absolutely free, and I'll go to the filter and choose free first, and here I'll choose bottle, and we will able to see a couple of bottles. So I like this one, glass bottle, in a good shape and size. So here I will select this. And guys, let's suppose if you want to place this object here. So I will select this cube, Shift S cursor to selected. Now I will select the glass bottle, Shift S selection to cursor. So this is a quick way to move your object on your desired location. And I will simply make it big and just perfectly place on the ground. So this is our glass bottle. I will press slash to solo this, disable this. Now let's go to the rendered mode. And here I will go to the cycles. So this way I can see what's going on. Here I'll go to the film and choose transparent glass. So now we can see this glass is fully transparent, but here is some roughness going on. So I have to play with the texture. So I will go here to the shader editor, and this is the surface imperfection which is adding this. So I will simply move this slider maybe like this side even more. So I'll just keep a bit, just a few. So now our glass is there, and this is looking really nice. I'll place slash once again to unsolo this. Go to the solid mode. I will select this cap and just move it down. Let me enable the rendered mode. Save this. So this is our glass bottle. Here is a one quick tip. This is the roughness threshold for the transparent glass. So let me show you. If I will disable this transparent glass, this is by the way in the render properties in the film. If I will disable this, you will see this looks like a glass with a lot of reflection, but we can't see through of this bottle. So for that, we have to enable the transparent glass. And in the some scenario, I check this roughness threshold should be more than 0.1. So here I'll make it 0.12, and our object is there, like orange is there and the glass is there. Now let's add the fluid simulation. Let's go to the timeline over here, and let's first save as orange underscore scene. So our base scene is there. Now I need a, but before simulation, make sure everything is on the scale 1. So I'll simply select the object, Control A, and apply the scale. Same for the orange and same for the cap. Okay, so everything is, from my opinion, everything is ready. For the fluid simulation, we need an emitter to flow the fluid, and we need a container which will be a boundary for the fluid simulation, because this is time consuming. It took a lot of processing power. We can't flow it like in a open world. So we need a boundary which called domain, which contain mainly all of the settings for the fluid. So we have to be careful creating fluid. I'm going to use a flip fluid add-on for this, because this looks complicated here if you will see, but it is so simple to process. And in the next part of this video, I will also show you some of the cool things which we can do with this plugin or add-on. So whenever you are going to use any model for the simulations, in this case I'm going to use this bottle model to hold the fluid. So first I'll go to the 3D print, which you can go to the edit preferences, and you can simply search 3D print box, or go to the extension, and here you can install this. It's free. And if I select this bottle and click on this check all, here you can see non-manifold edges is 32. So if I'll go to the cleanup and make it manifold, so now you can see this is set the non-manifold edges to 0, and this is something like ready to go for the fluid simulation. And here you will notice we have some extra face going on the top. So simply I press 3 and select this and press delete face, and now this is open. So this is really nice. I can do with this as well as. So let me check all and make manifold, check all once again, and you can see this is 0. So let me go to the render mode one time. So this is nice. And here first thing first, we have to create a domain. Don't select anything and click create domain, and it will create a domain. You can see the boundary box. Let me resize this based on our needs. So simply I'm just scaling this. Something like this is desirable for me. Control and apply the scale for the domain. We need some emitter. I don't want to use this as an emitter. Apart from this, I will create some tiny cubes. Let me go to this mode, X-ray mode, and let me place this around the center. So I'm going to create some cubes or some spheres which will emit the fluid. So here, let's go to the tab mode, select one vertex, shift S cursor to selected, and now let's create maybe a cube. Let me shrink it down and just make it small. Apply the scale, and here I can also apply the subdivision surface modifier and just make it 2. Scale it something like this and apply this. Set auto smooth. So this is our emitter. Let's move this into a new collection called emitter. Rename this here also emitter. Apply the scale, everything is done. We have domain, we have our emitter. So now I will collapse this and go to the add and remove object section, and here I will simply select this and make it inflow. Inflow means basically it will continue emitting fluid. So I'll click inflow, and now go to the first frame, and if I will go to the bake simulation and click bake, we have 65 resolution. Let's bake, and here you can see the frames which is completed. So if we have started doing fluid simulation, on the bottom it's basically not going inside that container. Here you can see this is going out of the container, which we don't want. So we want to fluid to be hold. So I'll reset this once again. I will select this bottle, and to make it like of object which will hold the or which will contain or which will keep the fluid. So I'll go to the add and remove object, and simply I'll make it obstacle. And let's go to the bake simulation once again, and let's bake one more time. So you can see something is happening over here, and this looks really nice for me because with the low resolution we are able to see everything working nicely. But how we can enhance it even more? The first thing which can obviously increase or make your simulation much nicer is the resolution, because if you'll increase the resolution, let's suppose if I'll go with the 128, which is almost double of the previous one, and let me reset this and let's bake again. So observe the simulation. It will definitely take a bit longer time, but the simulation will be a bit more precise and it will contain more information. So here you can see this is really nice. Let me pause this and reset it. Let's suppose in some scenario your fluid will be still after making it obstacle, it will still go out of the box. So what you can do, you can select this object, go to the physics properties, and here is an option called expand geometry. So you can increase the number a bit, and if you'll toggle your mouse into any values or any parameter, it will let you know what actually it modifies. So you have to be careful, or you can just check what you want to do. So this is the basic thing. We created the domain, we created the flip fluid object. Basically we created inflow, and we also created an obstacle which will hold the fluid. Now the next part is to add some more dynamics or more information. In case if you want to modify anything, you can also, based on the simulation, you can select the domain, and in the physics properties, here you can see we have the simulation right now. If I go to the catch, here I can just free all the bakes which we have, if we will have, and we have the display where we can see. And by the way, we can also see those things over here as well. As on the surface we can play with the subdivision. If you will increase this, there will be more subdivision into our mesh. And this is the particle scale. It's not desirable to make it under 1, but in some scenario, maybe if needed, you can increase the number. And there are a few more options available. This is the particle section where you can play with the particles. This is white water. If you will enable this, you will able to see all the white water particles. This is the world parameter where you can make the viscosity, tension, and all the scattering effect. But in our case, we don't need that because we basically created a juice kind of a stuff. In the material is really nice. So for that we have to bake it. So let's I will go with the 180 for now, and let's bake a few frames. And let me go to the rendered mode, and here I will also go to the cycles so we can see the fluid as well as, and disable this overlay panel for now. So you can see the fluid. I can select the domain, go to the physics properties, and on the surface level I want to add a material which is FF flip fluid orange juice, and it will apply the material. I can go to the material properties, and here I can select the juice one, and I can click on the color and just add a saturation a bit, and also the hue. So basically I want to make it more orange. So now you can see this looks like orange. And guys, if I'll increase the resolution even more, like 256 or maybe 500, definitely it will take a lot of time in baking. You can see your simulation stuff, and also it will take some time in the rendering, because if I'll go to the overlay panel, you can see this dense mesh. So here let me disable the wireframe, and what I will do, I will add a few more. Let's see if we will able to do. I will add a few more. We have some drops going on also. So for that we need some tiny particles, tiny object to emit fluid. So I can select this, and maybe I can duplicate this or create a new. So I will shift D to duplicate, GX, and move this here and just make the size a bit more smaller. And let's see if it's working or not. So I will click on this bake, and let's see. Yeah, it's also emitting, right? But let's suppose I don't want this to keep emitting. So what I will do, if I'll select the emitter object and go to the physics properties, we have some options which we can play. So if we'll toggle this, it's saying we can keyframe this option to start and stop inflow options. So let's suppose in starting like 27 frame, these things will not emitting. So I will just press I and it will add a keyframe. And here on the 30, let me enable and add a keyframe. On the 40, again I, and just on the 1 frame extra, I just make it disable. Okay. So let me bake once again and let's see. So the main emitter will keep flowing the fluid, but the tiny one will emit just for a few frames, and after that it will stop emitting. So let me go here. So you can see in starting this is not flowing. After this it will again stop emitting. So this is the nice one. And guys, what even more cooler, we can animate these things. Like I can animate the properties of this emitter, like position, rotation, and it will behave based on that as well. As so here you can see, so we are also creating some drops. This is nice. Reset, and I'll use this same emitter, shift D G X, and just move it this side, and let me add some rotation. So I'll go to the items, and in the rotation panel, maybe we can use G. So press I and go here till here and just rotate this and press I and press A, T, and just make it linear. So keyframe animation will be in a linear motion, and we have the same keyframe over here for this emitter too. So what I can do, I can just simply shift or just keep move it in the starting like this. Okay, so let's select the domain and let's go to the flip fluid and let's bake it. Let's select the second one. So it will, I guess, start from 13 frames. So yeah, you can see this is also starting. It's start and stop, something like this. If I go to the physics properties of the emitter, we have options to inflow velocity XYZ. And if you'll add, it will make the fluid on that direction. So this is really nice. I can play with the shape as well as. So let's bake the simulation into a higher number. Let me stop this, reset this, and I will bake the simulation in higher number, and then I will come back. And guys, what I can do more, in our reference you will able to see a crane which is holding. So I can also add it. So let me quickly do that as well. As file. Let me show you something. I tried this orange juice. This feels really nice. I also the video. I also have a video. So where we are, yeah. Let's create a new collection. This will be crane, and let me go to the file, import GLTF, and I'll import this, and I will simply just make it down. It will looks like the crane is holding that, and even if you don't like this side, I can select this and just rotate this. Yeah, this is nice. This is really cool. The visual effect is really nice. And guys, if you are really interested about learning everything from step by step, we have amazing courses like modern visual effect, where I have around 7 chapters of visual effect, where we learn about tracking, blender tracking, and also some other ways. And apart from this, you can create some stunning visual effect, like our iPhone visual effect, which crossed 36 million views on Instagram. Kia Motors visual effect, where a car is jumping from the store and going on the ground. So there are a bunch more, and definitely I will add one more chapter I am planning in my head. So it will be back soon. Don't forget to check it, guys. Let's quickly bake it 180, and I will see you. Because and for the final bake I will use 256 or 512. And since it's baking, let me talk a few more options. Like here is an option called simulation visibility, and this is really cool. That's why I'm just talking with you. So you can see surface display is set to final. So if you go to the first frame, this is in a final resolution which we are displaying. Like let's suppose if I'll make it preview and just reload, it will just turn down the strength. Basically it will just make the fluid less in a less resolution, so we can quickly play it. Whenever you want to see the final, you just select the final and just reload, so it will show you the final bake. Okay, nice. So this is the simulation is baked, and you can see this is the juice. Orange juice is ready. So let me disable the overlay so we can focus. So you can see all these drops. This makes simulation much nicer. We can also animate the middle one, like I can animate the shape, so few time it will emit it. Right now you can see the simulation is more linear, but if you will animate the size of the emitter over the time using some displacement, it will emit the fluid more randomly, like we can break the linear motion. So we can fix this if we want over here on the tutorial. And other thing which I want to also discuss, like we can add some filler object which is already into bottle. So let me show you quickly these two. So let me reset the simulation and go to the first frame. Quickly zoom over here. I will select this, go to the modifier and just add a displace modifier in the deform displace, and click new and go here and choose a cloud texture and just make the size. Go to the modifier panel and use 0.2. And what else, I can shift as cursor to selected and create a empty, and this empty will be like this place. I will select our core emitter, and in the direction, in the coordinate, I will choose object, and in the object panel I will select this displace empty. So now if I'll move this, you can see this is moving, which is the beauty of this displace modifier or empty. So quickly I'll press K and add a location and go to the very end and just move it in any direction. Let's move it a bit more. K and just add a location. A, make it linear. So now you can see we have this. And apart from this, I can also animate the scale. Here you can see. So press K and make the scale and go to the very end and just scale it even more like this. K and make it, add a keyframe on the scale, and we have this. So you can see we have this, and let's click on this bake one more time and let me show you. So you can see there is some more information, and if you increase the resolution even more, then it will pick the more minor details which our emitter has, the movement and all other stuff. So you can see this is nice. Let me stop this and let's discuss one last thing for this project. So I'll press 1 and go to this X-ray view. Select this, shift S cursor to selected, and let's create a cylinder. Scale it down and just I will select this object and I will just add and remove object, and here I will just make it like, let's add a fluid and let's see what happened. Let's reset and just make it like 128 for the quick. Basically I want to create a object which will emit fluid one time, or let me shrink this down, apply the scale one more time, and let's reset the bake it once again. Okay, so this is nice for me. So this way, let me reset one more time. Let me just scale this something like this, apply the scale, and let's start the baking. So this way guys, we have the fluid already inside the bottle, and we are adding more fluid on top of that. So let me go into the rendered mode, and you can see we have already half of the bottle is filled. So yeah, that way this simulation will look more nice, and definitely if you increase the resolution, these things will look more nicer. But for this project, I hope you got the idea for creating a fluid simulation, and this happened with the fluid add-on. I will mention the link in my video description, so you can go there and check it. insane. This is really good, guys. And you already seen we added just a couple of clicks and we created a flip fluid simulation, like fluid simulation inside Blender very easily, and we are able to change those things very quickly. So yeah, this is really nice. And let me stop for now, and I will bake the higher resolution and I will show you the final, preview with you. Nice. So let's jump into the second project and let's create something more amazing. Okay guys, so this is the second footage. I will share the link of this footage as well as, and I will also share the project file of both so you can start practicing. So I already finished texturing and also lighting. So if I'll enable the rendered mode over here and go to the film, let me disable this, and if I'll go to the quick VFX tool, it's free. So it's very easy. Here you can see it changes the location, rotation and also the scale just to modify our 360 environment map, which looks more like similar for this location. So this is really handy if you're gonna use this. Let's go to the solid mode and let's add the fluid with a different approach and different example. So here I want to add a curve object. So let me go to the curve and choose path and press 7. Let's move this into the curve. This is a curve and I'll just scale it, or simply let's go to the edit mode and let's start drawing something. And guys, make sure we have some distance in between these curves, otherwise fluid will confuse. So we have to be careful for that. So first thing first, as we discussed in the previous, we have to create a domain. So create a domain and make sure to make the domain bigger if your scene is bigger. So just make it bigger, which basically contain all the things. This time we will create a cube over here. So simply add a cube, and I want to move this cube over here. So I will select this curve, select this vertex, shift S cursor to selected. Now select this and selection to cursor. Move this and let's rename this to the emitter, and select this and select this 4 which is on the ground. Just lift it a bit so there will be some gap. Now I will select this, go to the flip fluid, add and remove object and just make it inflow. So this object will keep emitting the fluid. For the basic, let me enable, and you will see the fluid is there, it's emitting and it's spreading on the ground. I want to make this emitter to flow and I want to fluid to follow this curve. So I will select this curve and I will go to the flip fluid and I will click on this force option. So now if I'll go to the physics properties, we have some options which are already set on the curve. So now let's go and check what we get in straight. So now you can see the fluid is slowly increasing and trying to follow the curve, right? But not precisely here. So we basically created this curve, okay, which is a bit shorter from the previous one. And now let's bake, and you can see something is happening. And again guys, if you'll increase the resolution, max of the things will be fixed because we have more, basically fluid have more resolution to play with and more resolution to follow. But here you can see we are getting somewhere. So let me reset this and let's go with the 128, and this time I believe we will get something much nicer. So you can see the fluid is more thinner, and you can also see, let me hide this so you can see slowly it's picking. Reset this, and if I select the curve and go to the physics properties, we have some option. First option is attraction strength. Right now it's set to the value of the gravity. So here if we'll multiply this by 2, it will almost the double, and that will attract more fluid. This is the flow strength. This is basically add more speed, I guess, into the simulation flow. So here I can also add 0.1 or 0.2, And in the spin strength, help fluid to spin around the curve. So let's add 1 for now, and let's see the overall result what we will get with these few settings and with the resolution. So already it's around 70 frame back, so let's move. We have the flow going on, and also we have our fluid is going over here, you can see. And if we'll increase the attraction value even more, it will try to attract the fluid more precisely. So this is really nice, a lot better from the previous one. I can see some issues over here on the curve, maybe that's why it's causing. So I'll simply select these, delete vertices, so we have less over here. I can go to the front view and just move this like okay. So let's bake one more time. We just fix the curve a bit, smooth curve basically, and now you can see a lot of the problems has been fixed. And I really want to cover these into the camera, so let me reset this, and I will select the flow and also the curve together and just rotate it a bit. Okay, not bad. So let's try this one, and this time let's add the resolution a bit. So it's around 50 frames. The fluid is already 70 to 80%. So let's suppose if you are doing some magical stuff, or if you want to fill the container, you can just follow these things. Let's increase the attraction weight to -25, and let's see the result. So definitely you can see on the 25 it's around 40 to 50% there. Okay, nice. So with this setting we are getting the result. And again guys, for the material section, you can select the domain and go to the physics properties and go inside the material tab, and here on the surface I will simply choose the water, ocean, not water clear. So we have baked a few frames like 180, and this is the fluid. We can also play things like this, so you can see this look nice. So thanks for watching this video, and I really hope you learned something from this amazing tutorial. If you make something, please tag me on Instagram, use hashtag NPS-ready, #NPS-ready, and if you have any issues you can directly ping me. And don't forget to check out this Flip Fluid add-on and also our amazing courses, Modern Visual Effect, Blender for Brand, and our free tool, Quick VFX tool. So I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep working, keep smiling, bye bye, and take care guys.